At the end of the Russo-Ottoman War, the Ottoman Empire had to give autonomy to Serbia. Along with autonomy, Serbia was also given 6 nahijas that belonged to Bosnia. As a result of this confiscation of Bosnian territories, a movement for autonomy was born. In the shadow of all these events, it should also be borne in mind that the reforms of Sultan Mahmud II provided for the abolition of family inheritance of captaincy in which captains and ayans made themselves petty nobility. This additionally caused resistance to the reforms on the part of the Bosnian champions. In the days between December 20 and 31, 1813, Saint Captain Gradašević hosted a gathering of ayans in Gradačac. A month later, from January 20 to February 5, another meeting was held in the house of Bakir Bek Tuzlić in Tuzla, with the aim of preparing for the rebellion. From there, a general call was sent to the Bosnian people to rise up in an uprising for the defense of Bosnia. Then the popular Hussein Captain in unofficially elected as the leader of the movement. The result of the meeting in Tuzla was an agreement to hold the assembly in Travnik. Since Travnik was the seat of the Bosnian Pashaluk and Vezir, the planned meeting was in reality a direct confrontation with the Ottoman authorities. Gradašević thus asked all champions to help gather the army. At the end of March 1831, Gradašević headed towards Travnik with some 4,000 men. When the Bosnian governor Namik Pasha was informed that Bosniaks were moving towards Travnik in greater numbers, he concluded that it was an attack, and therefore tried to fortify himself in the Travnik fortress. On the advice of some prominent Bosniaks in Travnik, Namik Pasha surrendered without a fight, and thus these Bosniaks campaign passed without bloodshed. That's how the Bosniaks carried out a coup in their country. The rule of the Sultan decided to exit in Bosnia, and the rule of the Bosniak came into being, although he had not yet been officially declared the Valia of Bosnia. It is obvious that Saint Captain had already been given the authority to carry out the plan to fight against the Sultan. The session of the General Bosnian Parliament was held on the same day, March 29, 1831 in Travnik. The unity of all of Bosnia and determination to fight for autonomy was confirmed again. All captains and champions of Bosnia were present at the meeting. Very important decisions were made at this meeting. It was requested that the privileges granted by the court to the Principality of Serbia be revoked, that the introduction of the Nazi Jadid, new army, new uniforms, and new way of training be suspended, that the Bosnian governorship be abolished, and an autonomous government, headed by a local man, be allowed to introduce, for which Bosnia will pay the Porta an annual tribute of 4,000 cases. Based on authentic data, it can be determined that the Bosniaks immediately organized the entry leadership of military operations, and that they also appointed civil servants in all vacant positions, especially for administrative work, in the seat of the Eyalet in Travnik. Hussein Captain performed all these takes together with the Council of Champions of Bosnia. At the same time, Bosniaks were preparing an army which, as the main body, would march under the command of a young captain from Gradačac, Serasker Hussein Kapetan. The organization of the movement included the population near the borders of Montenegro and Serbia. With him were all the main champions of Bosnia with their army, and one can only imagine what an imposing picture of the unity of all Bosniaks it was. At the same time, Bosniaks secured their borders in Krajina and towards Serbia, so that no surprise would happen. The border with Serbia was secured by Mahmud Pasha Fidahić. On May 31st, Radašević sent an invitation to all Aryans to join his army. He was joined by thousands of men, among whom were many non-Muslims, who were said to make up to 1/3 of his total forces. Radašević divided his army into two parts. He left one part in Zvornik for defense in case of a possible invasion from the territory of Serbia, while he and the main part of the army headed towards Kosovo to meet the Grand Vizier, who was sent to suppress the rebellion. On his way, he captured Peć and Pristina, where he set up his main camp. The battle with Grand Vizier Mehmed Rashid Pasha took place on July 18 near Štimlje. Radašević sent part of his army under the command of Ali Bek Fidahić to meet Rashid Pasha. After a minor skirmish, Fidahić staged a false retreat. Thinking that victory was within reach, the Grand Vizier recklessly sent cavalry and artillery into the wooded terrain. Radašević took advantage of this tactical error, set a trap, and launched a counter-attack with the bulk of his forces, almost completely destroying the Ottoman forces. The wounded Rashid Pasha barely made it out alive. After the Grand Vizier promised that the Sultan would fulfill all the demands of the Bosniaks if the rebel army retreated back to Bosnia, Radašević and his forces returned home, where on September 12, 1831, his soldiers proclaimed him the new Valia with the rank of Vizier and the rank of Pasha. At the moment, Radašević was not only the supreme commander, but also the main civil authority in Bosnia. He established a court, and after settling in Sarajevo, he moved the central government of Bosnia to Travnik, making it the capital of autonomous Bosnia. In Travnik, he founded the Divan, the Bosnian parliament, which together with him formed the Bosnian government. At that time, Radašević also collected taxes and executed several local opponents of the autonomist movement. He gained a reputation as a hero and strong, brave, and determined ruler. Meanwhile, in Bosnia, Radašević decided to continue the attack on Herzegovina. Livno's captain Brahim Bek Firdus, on orders, launched a final attack on the local captains in order to suppress all local opponents of the autonomist movement. In order to achieve that goal, Firdus first attacked Ljubuški and the local captain Sulejman Bek. In an extremely important battle, Firdus defeated Sulejman Bek and secured of all Herzegovina except Stolac. However, in 1832, the Great Bosnian uprising lost its advantage in these battles. Part of the army that was besieging the Stolac was defeated in March 1832. After learning that the Bosnian forces were exhausted due to the winter, Stolac's captain Ali Pasha Rizanbegović and Smajl Aga Cengić completely defeated the attacking forces. Reinforcement under Commander Mujaga Zlatar had already been sent from Sarajevo towards Stolac, but Radašević ordered them to return when he learned that the Grand Vizier had stopped a major offensive in Bosnia. The Ottoman attack began at the beginning of February 1832. The Grand Vizier sent two armies in the direction of Sarajevo, and Gradašević sent approximately 10,000 troops to meet them. When the Ottomans crossed the Drina, Gradašević ordered Ali Pasha Fidahić to intercept the enemy near Rogatica with 6,000 soldiers, while the units stationed in Visegrad moved towards Pale. The meeting between the two sides finally took place at the end of May near Glasinac. The Bosnian army was led by Gradašević himself, while the Ottoman units were under the command of Kara Mahmud Hamdi Pasha, the newly appointed Bosnian Vizier by the Sultan. After the first conflict, Gradašević was forced to retreat to Pale. The fight continued in Pale, and Gradašević had to retreat again, this time to Sarajevo. There the Council of Captains decided to continue the fighting. The final battle took place on June 4 at 2 near Sarajevo. After a long and difficult battle, it seemed that Gradašević could defeat the Sultan's army. However, towards the very end, the Herzegovinian forces under the command of Aliaga Rezanbegović and Smailaga Cengić broke forward Gradašević's defense, which was placed on the flanks and joined the fight. Surprised by an attack from behind, the Bosnian army was forced to retreat to Sarajevo. It was then decided that further military resistance was pointless. Gradašević went to Gradačac. After leaving Gradačac, he headed towards Austria. After his stay in the Habsburg monarchy, he returned to Ottoman territory, but to Belgrade, where he spent 2 months, and then went to Istanbul, where he died in 1854.